The knocking came softly, not desperate, not loud, just tired. Rhea Tamsin stood still in the shadow of her rural home, tucked against the rocky red spires of the Arkan frontier. The wind had carried in a dry chill, and her solar generators flickered, low power mode again. She sighed, brushed dust from her hands, and turned toward the door. It was late, past the third moonrise. No one ever came here by choice. The knock came again, one slow thump. Cautiously, she opened the reinforced door, her old plasma sidearm tucked behind her back. What she saw froze her blood. An alien woman stood there, barefoot, lips cracked, her arms shaking as she held a frail child in her arms. Thin tendrils of hair clung to her face, and her bluish skin had dulled to a sickly gray. The girl, no older than 5 by human standards, was limp in her grasp. "Please," the woman croaked. "My daughter needs water." Then she collapsed at Rhea's feet. Rhea's instincts kicked in. Years of humanitarian work before the war, her stubborn sense of decency, none of it had ever truly left her. She hoisted the alien child first, light as nothing, and carried her to the hydration unit. The little girl's breathing was shallow, her eyes fluttering. Dehydration, starvation, shock. Rhea retrieved the emergency electrolyte pack from her medkit and gently placed it between the girl's lips. "You're all right," she whispered. "Just hold on." Next, she turned to the mother, who lay sprawled on her porch, unconscious. Rhea carried her inside, too. 2 days passed before the alien woman stirred. Rhea had cleaned the dirt and blood from her arms, patched a laceration on her thigh, and injected a stabilizing fluid. The child, meanwhile, began to respond to touch and fluid after a long sleep. "Where?" the woman rasped. "You're safe," Rhea said, sitting nearby with a mug of broth. "I'm Rhea. You're on the edge of human-controlled space, Arkan region. About 10 clicks from the old mining post." The woman blinked. Her gaze was sharp but tired. "I am Kalira. I didn't know where else to go." "What happened?" Kalira hesitated. "The syndicate, they raided our caravan. Traitors, families, not soldiers. My husband died protecting us. I ran." Rhea clenched her jaw. Those bastards still roam the border, even after the ceasefire. Kalira nodded. "They don't honor treaties. And you walked across the dunes with a child?" "There was no one else," Kalira whispered. Her eyes drifted to the little girl, now bundled near the stove. "Her name is Senna. She hasn't spoken since we left the wreckage." Rhea felt a pang deep in her chest. She had seen too many refugees, too many orphans. But this was something else. "You were lucky," Rhea murmured. "A few more hours, and you both would have joined the dust." Kalira met her gaze. "I didn't come for charity. Just water. I would have left. You would have died," Rhea said plainly. "You and the girl. That's not how I operate." Over the next week, Kalira and Senna stayed in Rhea's modest home. It wasn't much, just 2 rooms, a storage tank, and a half-working hydroponics patch, but it was warm and quiet. Rhea noticed things. Kalira ate sparingly, never taking more than she was given. She insisted on helping, cleaning, fixing the filtration system, even mending the solar array wiring. She was no stranger to hard work. Senna, however, remained silent. She watched Rhea with wide, haunted eyes, but never spoke. The trauma ran deep. One evening, while preparing meal paste, Rhea asked, "You were a widow before you knocked on my door, weren't you?" Kalira didn't flinch. She simply said, "The moment he fell, I became something else." They sat in silence for a while. "You're not just a traitor," Rhea said at last. "You move like someone trained." Kalira looked at her hands. "I was once part of the Virexi Peace Guard. Before the conflict, when peace meant something." Rhea's brow rose. "I fought against your people during the war." "I know. You still knocked. I saw a human home, and I prayed you were more than the stories. Rhea gave a bitter laugh. And here I thought your kind saw us as monsters. Kalira looked at her then, truly looked. Not monsters, just wounded. 2 more days passed. Then the storm came. A syndicate scout ship landed a few ridges away, visible from the roof. Rhea saw the plume of disturbed sand spiraling in the dusk. They found us, Kalira said quietly. They found me. How many could be on that scout? 8, maybe 10. I can take 2, Rhea said, pulling open her weapons locker. Kalira opened her mouth. No, Rhea said firmly. I don't care who you were. You're a mother now. You stay with the girl. Kalira's eyes blazed. I was a peace guard. I've killed syndicate before, and I won't hide behind you. For a moment, they stared at each other. Then Rhea gave a sharp nod. Fine. You take high ground. I'll draw them into the ravine. The syndicate approached at dawn. They didn't knock. The first shot came from Kalira, clean, silent, deadly. One merc fell like a stone from the rocks. Rhea triggered her EMP net as they crossed the perimeter, disabling 2 of their rifles instantly. Then she charged. Gunfire cracked across the ridge. The ground shook with boots and screams. The 2 women moved like a unit, flanking, covering, retreating only to bait. Kalira used the shadows like a ghost. Rhea's plasma pistol roared with precision. By the time the dust cleared, 6 bodies lay smoking in the sand. The others fled in panic, their ship engines whining into the sky. Rhea collapsed against a rock, laughing breathlessly. You weren't lying about your aim. Kalira wiped blood from her cheek. And you weren't lying about your stubbornness. That night, Rhea found Senna sitting by the stove, humming softly. It was the first sound the girl had made since arriving. Rhea looked to Kalira. She'll recover. Kalira's eyes shimmered. She already has. Thanks to you. No, Rhea said softly. Thanks to you for knocking. There was a long silence. Then Kalira asked, what now? Rhea sipped her drink. We fixed the roof. Maybe expand the hydroponics. Could use an extra hand around here. Kalira tilted her head. Are you offering us the home? I'm offering you what someone once offered me. After my own war. After I lost everything. Kalira nodded slowly. Then we'll stay. If you'll have us. Months passed. The house grew. The crops thrived. Senna laughed again, chasing dust lizards in the yard. And at night, by firelight, Rhea and Kalira sat shoulder to shoulder. Warriors, mothers, survivors. The syndicate never returned. And the woman who had once collapsed at Rhea's feet, starved, broken, grieving, stood tall again, her daughter in her arms. Not a widow anymore. Not a soldier. But something stronger. Family.